Today we will discuss a few most important MCQs on company law. So those who are preparing for All India Bar examination this year, this video lecture will be very helpful for you all. Hey everyone, my name is Sangeeta. Welcome back to this channel. Be legally aware. So without any further delay, let's start today's session. So the first question is our dash means a company the liability of its members limited, okay, limited by the memorandum to the amount, if any, unpaid on the shares respectively held by them. Okay, so options are देखिए, company limited by guarantee, company limited by shares, both A and B, and none of the above. So in this case the correct option would be option B, that means company limited by shares. So first of all we have to understand what is company limited by shares. That means a company which is limited by shares. So company limited by shares is a type of company where the shareholders liability limited to their investment, okay, limited to their investment in the company. They cannot be held personally responsible for any debt or liabilities beyond the amount they have invested. Okay, so that means type of company, where shareholders liability, where shareholders liability, okay, where shareholders liability limited to their investment, to their investment, okay, to their investment, and they cannot be held personally responsible for any debts or liabilities beyond the amount they have invested. Okay, that means they cannot be held liable for any amount beyond, for any amount beyond the amount they have invested, beyond the amount they have invested, okay, invested, okay. That means कंपनी लिमिटेड बाय शेयर्स मीन्स वही कंपनी है जहाँ पर ऑल द शेयर होल्डर्स लाइबिलिटी आर लिमिटेड, ओके, कितना लिमिटेड है, टू देयर अमाउंट दे इन्वेस्ट है, जितना अमाउंट उन लोगों ने कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट किया है उसी अमाउंट तक लिमिटेड रहेगा, एंड कैन नॉट बी हेल्ड लाइबल personally for any debt or liabilities, okay, beyond the amount they have investment, जो उन लोगों ने जितना अमाउंट कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट किया है अप टू दैट अमाउंट दे कैन बी लाइबल, ओके, बियॉन्ड दैट अमाउंट दे कैन नॉट बी held liable, personally liable, okay. So the question is, debt means a company having the liability of its members limited by the memorandum to the amount, if any, unpaid on the shares, okay, shares respectively held by them. So in this case the correct option would be option B, that means company limited by shares. तो आप लोगों को पता चल गया कि कंपनी लिमिटेड बाय शेयर्स क्या होता है, कि वही कंपनी है जो shareholders liability is limited to their amount they have invested, and apart from that they cannot be held personally liable, okay. So in this case the correct option would be option B, okay. So now on to next question. This question is company liquidator insofar as relates to the winding up of a company means a person appointed by, okay. Options are देखिए, options are the tribunal in case of winding up by the tribunal, option B the company or the creditors in case of voluntary winding up of a company, and both A and B and none of the above, okay. So in this case the correct option would be option C, okay. First of all we have to understand who is a company liquidator, okay. A company liquidator is a person with the legal authority to act on behalf of a company before it closes. That means, who is a company liquidator? Company liquidator is a person with legal authority to act on behalf of a company before it closes. That means a liquidator is a person with the legal authority authority to act on behalf of the company, on behalf of the company before it closes, before it closes. Okay, that means so company liquidator is a person with the legal authority or not to act on behalf, okay, on behalf of the company before it closes. So अगर कोई भी एक कंपनी क्लोज हो जाता है, ठीक है, then that time a liquidator is appointed. Okay, it may be appointed by either by the court or by the company itself. Okay, so in this case the company liquidator insofar as relates to the winding up of a company means a person appointed by uh, the correct answer is tribunal. Okay, in case the winding up by the tribunal, that means अगर कोई भी company, okay, winding up हो जाता है by the tribunal, then in that case the company liquidator will be appointed by the tribunal. Okay, but in case the company is voluntarily winding up, अगर कोई भी एक कंपनी खुद से अपने इच्छा से अगर क्लोज होना चाहता है, ठीक है, then in that time the company liquidator will be appointed either by the company itself or by its creditor, or by its creditor. Okay, so in this case the correct option would be option B. That means liquidator can be appointed by both tribunal or by the company, or in certain cases by its creditor. Okay, so one more thing that I want to mention, that what is winding up. Okay, winding up of a company. What is winding up of a company? Okay, so winding up of a company, it means the process of closing a company. Okay, कोई भी एक कंपनी जब क्लोज होता है उस एंटायर प्रोसेस को हम विंडिंग अप ऑफ ए कंपनी बोलते हैं, ठीक है, दैट मीन्स विंडिंग अप. So in this case the correct option would be option C. Okay, so now move to next question. So the next question is about the minimum number of members that require while you are registering a public company. Okay, minimum number of members कितना होगा? So the options are option A number 2, option B number 6, option C number 7, and option D number 5. Okay, so in this case the correct option would be option C. That means total 7. That means minimum. That means minimum number कितना चाहिए? Minimum number of member in case of public company is 7 members. 7 members. Okay, so first of all we have to know what is public company. Okay, what is public company? So a public company is a company that sells its own share of stock, that sells its own shares of stock to the public, which can be traded on a stock exchange, which can be traded stock in a stock exchange. ओके, दैट मीन्स पब्लिक कंपनी क्या है? पब्लिक कंपनी एक ऐसा कंपनी है जो सेल करता है अपना खुद का शेयर इन द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. ओके, किसको सेल करता है? वो पब्लिक, डायरेक्टली टू द पब्लिक, एंड दैट स्टॉक, दैट मीन्स दैट शेयर कैन बी ट्रेडेड इन द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. जो शेयर स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में ट्रेड किया जा सकता है. ओके, सो one more thing that you should remember, that public company is owned by a diverse group of shareholders including general public. That means public companies owned by a diverse group of shareholders. Diverse group of shareholders including general public, including general public. That means public companies are owned by a diverse group of shareholders. That means public company का जो owner होता है it can be of diverse group of shareholders including general public भी हो सकता है. ठीक है. So this is called a public company. Okay. So now into question. So the question was the minimum number of members that required while you were registering public company is our seven number of members. Okay. So in this case, the correct option would be option C. Okay, so now on to next question. So the next question is our the minimum number of members. Okay, the minimum number of members that required while you are registering a private company. तो पहले हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था public company जहाँ पर minimum requirement of number of members is 7. Public company हम लोगों ने पढ़ा जहाँ पर minimum number of members कितना है? minimum 7 number of members. Okay, so in this question so here the question is minimum number of members that required for registering a private company. तो अभी देखेंगे private company का कितना minimum number होना चाहिए. Okay, so the options are option A 5, option B 7, option C 4 and option D 2. So in this case the correct option would be option D, that means 2. Okay, that is the minimum number of members that are required for registering a private company is minimum 2 members. 2 members is required for forming for forming any private company. Okay, so in this case the correct option would be option D. Okay, so before we should know what is private company. Okay, what is private company? So private companies are owned by a smaller group of individuals, often companies founders. So what is private company? So private companies are private companies are owned by a smaller group of individuals, of individuals, often companies founders. Okay, so that means private companies are owned by a smaller group of individuals. Okay, and often companies founders. But on the other hand public company में हम लोग ने क्या देखा? public companies are owned by a diverse group of shareholders. Okay, public company में क्या होता है? It is owned by a diverse. So this is the difference between the private company and a public company. So public company is owned by public company is owned by diverse group of individual. Okay, and on the other hand private companies are owned by private companies are owned by smaller group of individuals. Okay, individuals. So this is the major difference between a public company and private company. So now on to next question. So in this case the correct option would be option D. Okay, that is minimum 2 members. Next question. Next question is our where the company to be formed to be one person company. Okay, that is to say A options are public company, a private company, both A and B, none of the above. So in this case the correct option would be option B, that means private company. That means when a company is formed to be one person company, then in that case that company is called a private company. Private company. Okay, so in this case the correct option would be option B. Okay, so now into next question.